My name is Marcello. I'm the Chief Product Officer at Arduino, and today I will talk to you about a little bit about vibe coding and what it means for embedded development. First of all, a few things about myself. Like Olivier, which we shared the desk for a few years, I've been in IoT for many years. And I've kind of, witnessed the evolution of all the tools and all the services and the systems that are used to go in production and to develop real-world applications for IoT. And what I realized over the years is that doing IoT is hard. And it's kind of a miracle that we have so many connected devices out there, knowing how hard it is for developers to actually not just develop the software and the hardware that goes in the field, but to actually be able to maintain that software and that hardware throughout the life cycle. This is why I feel that as part of Arduino, which I'm sure that many of you know, the role of Arduino in this new wave of intelligence at the edge is consistent with what is the legacy of the company and the mission that we have, which is to really make this type of technologies accessible for for everybody. And when it comes to bringing intelligence at the edge, I feel that there are really two aspects that are particularly important to democratize intelligence and to enable as many people as possible to use and leverage the outcome and the benefits of AI at the edge. The first one on the hardware side of things is having a portfolio of devices readily available that are capable of running machine learning and AI workloads right at the edge. And the second is having the right type of tools, ideally on the cloud, so that you don't have to manage the life cycle on the tools themselves. Ready for data management, model training, deployment, and coding. The combination of these two things in a low-code approach is what I would call vibe coding for embedded. When we look at how Arduino relates to these two pillars of simplifying and democratizing intelligence at the edge, let's talk about the portfolio. Many of you, I'm sure, that know Arduino for 8-bit microcontrollers from Microchip. As a matter of fact, today 90% of the Arduino hardware portfolio is capable of running machine learning and AI workloads. From tiny M0 ARM microcontroller to much more powerful microprocessor-based microprocessors, we have a range of devices that span from prototyping boards to system of modules that can be deployed in industrial environments to even industrial automation platforms like Opta. So the hardware is available, right, and can be just bought off the shelf and deployed. When it comes to software, for the last 8 years, we have actually created and developed Arduino Cloud. Arduino Cloud is really a single-stop shop for anything that is related to developing anything on the cloud and on the devices connected to the cloud for IoT deployments, to collecting data, processing data, and basically managing the fleet as an IoT deployment. And it's really meant to accelerate the deployment at scale of IoT devices without trading on the ability of individual developers to be able to experiment and try things on their own, but at the same time enabling the ability for people to scale as much as possible in the field. So what is Arduino Cloud? Arduino Cloud it's mainly the combination of two macro area of features and capabilities. There is one side that we call the cloud editor, and the other side that is the IoT application platform. Both are codeless or low code, which means that they don't expose coding and the complexity of code to developers unless they choose so, unless they want to. And of course, the entire Arduino cloud is actually anchoring on integration with third-party platforms, because of course IoT doesn't live in a vacuum, and value of any IoT deployment is the ability for data to flow in from a field of devices, but also from data, intelligence, and behaviors to reconnected with line of business applications. When it comes to features and capabilities, let me break them down for you, real quick. The first one, as we discussed, an integrated developer environment rightly available on the cloud that allows to develop, for any type of devices, from tiny microcontroller to more capable, microprocessor units. An application builder that is enabling to build IoT applications from dashboards to triggers, data analytics pipelines, and so on, directly on the cloud without the need of building code, writing code. An AI-coded assistant, and I will explain exactly what it is, which is basically the ability to leverage generative AI to not just writing the code that gets deployed on the devices, but also to understand, debug, and fix the code, whether it is in prototyping phase or in production. Integration with third party, and of course, being hosted here at the Things conference, one of the major integrations that Arduino Cloud has is, of course, with the Things network that makes it super transparent and easy to provision and deploy LoRaWAN devices, pushing data on the cloud. The ability to customize the look and feel of the application, but also the interaction with users, creating teams, roles, and different organizations for supporting even more complex industrial deployments. The ability to scale from one connected device to thousands, hundreds of thousands, and millions of devices. To give you an idea, right now, as we speak, Arduino Cloud is processing data flowing in from their connected devices that we count in the billions of data points per week. Data security that is really coming across the entire stack from the devices that needs to be secure right at the edge. Almost every single AI-capable Arduino device comes with a trust chip on them for secure provisioning and secure management. And of course, fleet management, over-the-air update, and zero-touch provisioning. Of course, a lot of features. I don't have time to talk about all the features to you today. I will focus on two that are particularly relevant: the AI, capabilities, and fleet management and zero-touch provisioning. Let's start from the latter. Fleet management. Fleet management really means the ability, no matter whether you have one device connector or 1 million device connected, to be able to manage that fleet throughout their entire life cycle. I've been in IoT for a few years. Many of you, I'm sure, have as well. And I'm sure that you remember some of major failures in IoT history for large fleet of connected devices that were deployed. Think about smart gas meters or other type of devices without thinking about the entire life cycle. And then after a few years, those devices needed their battery to be replaced or their firmware to be updated, only to discover that that was not possible. And I think that was in the UK a couple of years back that they need to re-provision and re-update the firmware manually to 1.5 million smart meters. Think about the cost of that operation, and so long for servitization and cost savings there. So thinking about how you streamline the management of your connected devices throughout their entire life cycle, from the moment that a technician is on the field to actually connect those devices for the first time, to the moment that those devices will need to, picked up and recycled. That entire life cycle is something that needs to be, handled remotely with a device without an operator in front of it. Seems it's easier said than done, but it's one of probably the most critical aspects. And on Arduino Cloud, very recently, we actually introduce a major new set of features about zero-touch provisioning and mobile provisioning, which effectively enables fleet managers to provision devices in two main ways. The first one, we call it pre-provisioning, which basically devices are whitelisted, and once they are connected to the internet, there is no need to do anything on those devices. They know where to go, download the proper firmware, update the firmware, and get securely provisioned to the tenant of the applications that they are configured to connect to. And then the second flow is actually mobile provisioning through a mobile app connected via Bluetooth and compatible with any of our connected devices. Operators can actually securely provision those devices without having to connect them to USB or do anything other than follow a specific workflow that is pre-configured, and so it's literally idiot-proof, which is very, very important because you often don't have a technician or a skilled computer science major to deploy and provision your devices. Mobile and zero-touch provisioning are available for any type of cloud provisioning. Next on, AI assistant, and this is what probably you were expecting when you heard about vibe coding for embedded, and this is exactly as the name it suggests. Last year we actually introduced in preview, and now is actually in GA, the Arduino AI assistant, which is effectively your co-pilot or your coach, as I like to call it, that lives inside the Arduino Cloud Editor. And is not just a tool that you can ask to write the code that you want to deploy on your Arduino devices or any type of IoT device. It's much more than that. Because it's a system that is aware not just of the device that you have and of the larger kind of Arduino ecosystem. It has access to the knowledge of millions of posts in the Arduino forum, and is aware of all the accessories, kits, shields, add-ons that are part of the Arduino ecosystem. But it's also a system that you can interact, not just to have your code written, but to have code that you maybe downloaded from the internet, checked, debugged, explained. So for example, the AI assistant is a formidable tool for education, because it's not replacing the learning experience of kids. It's actually supporting their learning experience, because they can have their code, the code snippets that are provided, explained. Right? And this is something that works at scale, because you can have, for example, the Arduino AI assistant debug live code that you have deployed on hundreds or hundreds of thousands of devices, understand, ask by telling what is the problem that you are experiencing, and having the Arduino AI assistant suggest for bug fixes. And only for those bug fixes to then get deployed in production, and through fleet management, distributed and updated over the air to your entire fleet with the deployment rules that you choose. So this is really what we intend when we think about vibe coding for IoT, and this is something that works in the real world, because this is an example, of course, in a animated GIF, but from a real world application that has been completely developed with the vibe coding tools that are part of Arduino Cloud. The code on the Opta PLC that you see on the right was written with the Arduino AI assistant. The dashboard and the IoT application that you see live here was created with the low-code and no-code tools that are part of Arduino Cloud. And Arduino Cloud, which in here you see a summary of all the features and capabilities, is something that, as we speak, is currently used by more than 13,000 customers across the world, from enthusiasts to school and educators to enterprises, and has literally hundreds of thousands of devices connected. But more importantly, Arduino Cloud is available pretty much to for everyone, because it's actually free to try. And there is a free plan that is going to be basically free forever. But then there are different plans that are basically catering to the type of use that you want to do it. Of course, if you're a maker, there is a plan for you with all the capabilities that you might need for running your Sunday project. For teams, small companies and enterprises, we have dedicated plans that can be tailored to specific needs in terms of number of devices and data. And of course, for schools, we have Arduino Cloud plans that are tied to specific learning path and learning courses that are meant to really teach coding and learn coding from kids from K-12 to higher education. So that's Arduino Cloud. We feel that the combination of all these amazing capabilities is really what vibe coding is and should be for embedded. And I'm looking forward for you all to try it and provide us feedback and maybe scale your IoT deployment. So thank you so much.